A little bit ahead of myself, aren't I? Good morning and a very warm welcome to what is sure to be another very special Harcourts Rata & Co auction at number 4 Clacton Court in CRAIGIEBURN. My name is Robert Ozzimo and I proudly represent the company of Harcourts Rata & Co. Joined here today by some of the best in the business, the award-winning team in blue. Should you require their advice, please feel free to approach either Ivan, Rob, Michael and of course Julian and Andrew, who no doubt you've met throughout the marketing campaign. Buyers, let me share with you the following announcements which are in place to have you bid and buy with absolute confidence here today. The auction will be conducted in accordance with the rules and any conditions that were made available for inspection before the start of the auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for property after the property has been knocked down to the successful bidder. The vendors have a reserve price as the auctioneer will indicate bidders on request. The law prohibits false bids, prohibits major disruptions by bidders and prohibits bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding and provides for fines for such conduct. The rules permit for vendor bids, the words I'll use during the auction to indicate that I'm making a bid on behalf of the vendor are vendor bid, and by law only I, as the auctioneer, can make a vendor bid. The contract of sale has been on display prior to today's auction. We call for 10% deposit upon the fall of the hammer and the signing of that contract here today, with the balance to be paid at settlement in 60 to 90 days time, at which time the vendor will provide the lucky buyer with vacant possession of the property. All in all, quite a straightforward contract. Everything's in there, everything's quite clear. Buyers, is with my highest recommendation what we offer for your competition and consideration here today. What a great opportunity to secure the perfect Christmas present for you and your family just in time for Christmas. A great family home here and a great family location here in the bowl of a court, no through traffic, an abundance of accommodation featuring 5 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms in total. All on, and how big is the block? It was quite a good sized block, wasn't it? On a great sized block, he doesn't know exactly. On a great sized block here in the heart of CRAIGIEBURN, where you've got access to a wonderful array of infrastructure, which not only provides a great lifestyle, but also secures your family's future through capital growth. So great opportunity, as I said, for you and your family to get into the market before Christmas. Those opportunities are few and far between. What an opportunity it is for you though today to get the salt sticker on the board. Buyers, if you'd like to secure that right now, the opportunity to do just that. Where can I see a fair and reasonable starting bid for 4 Clacton Court? Who'd like to start us off? I don't mind the course. Tell me where you like, buyers. This is your moment, your time. I've had my say. Time for you to have yours now. This is an opportunity to get yourself ahead of the competition, to show every other potential buyer here today that the keys do belong to you at $740,000 now. At $740 and a great start at $740,000. Don't let it scare you off. It's just a big bid. You can make one too at $740 the bid. At $740,000 and the bid's here at $740. At $740, I'll take 10 in the rise at 50. Got at $750,000. At $750,000, fairly been offered at 60. Got now at $760. At $760,000, I dare say we are selling, Ange, aren't we? At $760,000. Sir, keys with you at the moment. At $760,000, we are on the market here, selling here today at $760,000. If there's no better bid, we'll sell there. You got the opportunity now, but it is fleeting. At $760 the bid. First call at $760. Are we done? At $760,000 for the second call at $760. At $65, I'll take a $65. Same courtesy at $5 if you like, sir. At $770 now, $770. At $775, even better, at $775. At $775,000, bid there. I'll still take the 510s better though. At $775,000, fairly been offered now. 85 now and 85 got. How about you round me off to 800, sir? At $785,000, at 88. Now I had 90 here. At $790. At $790,000. At $790,000 now, fairly been offered. Can say 800 in the rise, sir. At $790 the bid. At $790,000, wishing the best of luck here today, Rob. At $790. At $790,000, fairly been offered now. $790 the bid. At $790,000 the bid. What do you say? At 2.5 or 7.9, 2.5, and same courtesy here and the same courtesy with you, sir. However, I dare say it might be the first 800 wins. If that's the case, it want to be you that gets there first. At 7.9, 2.5, and the bid's there. At $792,500. At $795 now. At $795,000. At $795, 3 still in it. At $795, what do you say, sir? $795. Can you take me to 8? At $795,000, bids there, keys are there. At $797, at 2.5, we'll take the 2.5 for $797.5. At $797.5 now. At $797,500, 800 the opportunity though. At $797,500, fairly been offered now. Can I say 8 in the rise? At $797,500, first call at $797.5.
798.
At 798, down to 500s at 798. At 798,000, surely, so 800. At 798,000, at 99 now, going to make me crawl there. At 800,000, and we got there in the end at 800,000, even money now. Don't let us scare you off, it's just a round number. It's only one more than 99 at 800,000, and the bid's there. At 800, the bid. At 801 now, at 801, at 801,000. Might have to bring out the big guns now, so if you want to buy, got to dig deep if you want to buy at 801, and the bid's there. At 801,000, fairly been offered now at 801. At 801,000, bid there, keys there, on the market selling at $801,000 the bid. Once at 801,000, all done. For the second call at 800. 803 now at 803. At 803,000, fairly been offered now at 803. They've got the keys. You've got the opportunity though. At 803,000, the bid's there. At 803, the bid. At 803,000, right of reply to you, sir. At 803, the bid. Can I say 805 now? We are playing for keeps. We do sell here today. There's no second chances. At $803,000, the bid. Once at 803, are we done? Second call. At 803,000, we're done, finished.
500?
803.5 now at 803,500. At 803.5, and the bid's back in the centre. Opportunity on both sides. At 803.5 now. How about 805, sir? At 803,000. 805 now, and a better bid now at 805,000. 805,000, keys back in your pocket for now. At 805, the bid. At 805,000, bid there against your buy on the phone, Rob, at 805. At 805,000, sir, you still with me, ma'am? What do you say? 805,000. You started strong, but it's how you finish that counts. At 805,000, need to know we're going to sell at 805,000. Fairly been offered now. 805 the bid. Bids here, keys are here. Once at 805,000. Are we done? Second call. At 805.5, easy bid to beat, surely, sir. 805,500. At 805,500 now. Bids here, keys here. Opportunity with you. 806 now at 806,000. At 806, at 806 the bid. At 806,000, fairly been offered, and the bid's there at 806,000. We are on the market. We sell here today. 806 the bid. If there's no further bids, the keys will remain there at 806,000. You've still got the opportunity here, sir. You've been very elusive. I can't read you. At 806,000, you're still with me or not? At 806 the bid. First call at 806. Are we all done? Second call. 806,000, 806.5 at 806,500 now, 806,500. Can I suggest 810 in the rise, sir? 806.5. It might take a big bid to show the competition the keys are yours. At 806,500, fairly been offered. At 806.5 now. At 806,500, fairly been offered. Bids here, keys are here. 806.5 now, fairly been offered. For the first call at 806.5. 807.5 now at 807.5. How about 810, Rob? At 807,500, fairly been offered now at 807.5. So are we done? We're definitely done. Thank you very much for your spirit of being here today. 807, thank you again. 807,500. Bids here, keys are here. Only one left to beat, Rob. At 807,500. Bids here, keys are here. Knocked out one at 807.5 now. 810 might be the ticket. At 807,500 for the first call. 807.5 all done. Second call 1,000. At 808.5 now. 808,500. 10 it's got to be, surely. At 808,500. Fairly been offered here now at 808.5. At 808,500 now, fairly been offered. At 808.5. At 808,500, bids there, keys there, on the market selling. Might be your last chance, sir. At 808,500 once, twice, third, 810, and we got in the end at 810,000. He hasn't bought it just yet. At 810,000, we'll reserve the applause. At 810,000, great to see the enthusiasm. At 810,000, the bid's back here. Keys are back here at 810. At 810,000, what do they say? At 810,000, has he done enough? At 810,000, can't think about it too long. I won't be here all day. At 810,000, fairly been offered. At 810, the bid. At 810,000, fairly been offered now. Bids there, keys there. Once at 810, all done. Second call at 810, at 812, at 812,000, at 812,000, fairly been offered now at 812 the bid. At 812,000, dig deep, as I said, if you want to buy at 812, this is the moment, this is the time, no second chances. 812 the bid, bids here, keys are here, at 812,000. can rest easy over the Christmas break, knowing that you're already in the market. No more open for inspections next year at 812.5. At 812.5 now, and the bid's back here with $5,000 bid at 812,500 now. At 812.5 now, fairly been offered at 812,500 on the market, selling 812,500. We're still done there at 812.5 now. Once at 812.5, twice. Third final call, 812,000 and 813. 13 lucky for some at 813, and the bid's here at 813 now. At 813,000, fairly been offered now. 813 bid there, keys there. 813 the bid. At 813,000, how about 15 in the rise? At 813,000 now, fairly been offered now at 813. At 813,000, the keys are in the centre. The opportunity back with you at 813. Balls in your court at 813. At 813,000, fairly been offered once, twice. Third, final call at 14, at 814, at 814,000, 15 surely now at 814,000, bid back here now at 814, at 814 the bid. We are on the market, we are selling, 814 the bid, first call at 814,000, second call at 814, tell them they've got to be decisive, Rob. Christmas is around the corner. At 15, at 815 now, at 815 the bid, at 815,000, bid there, keys there, 815. Can we be bold? So how about we say 20 in the rise, get the job done at 815,000. I'm sure you'll get another round of applause at 815,000. At 815,000, the bid's there. What do you say? Do we let him have it at that, or give me a big bid in response?
16.
At 16 now, at 816, at 816,000. I'll ask the same of your buyer, Rob. How about 20 in the rise? At 816,000, a statement bid. Big bids buy property. 816, the bid's there. He's thinking about it again at 816,000. Santa's on his way. At 816,000, fairly been offered. At 816, the bid once at 816,000. Done. Twice at 816 and a half. At 816.5 now. At 816,500. The best response to a small bid's a big one, sir.
Half.
And a half at 17. At 817,000. At 817, pressure straight back on your buyer. At 817 now the bid. At 817,000, fairly been offered now. At 817 the bid. At 817,000. How about 20, Rob? At 817 now. Once. At 817 the bid. Done. At 817,000 twice. At 818, 818, 818, at 818,000 now, 20 can I say so? At 818 the bid's there, it's against you at 818. At 818 the bid, what about 20? At 818,000 once, twice, at 820,000. There you go again. At 820,000. They love the round numbers. At 820,000, the bid's there now at 820. Fairly been offered now at 820 the bid. Bid's here, keys are here. At 820,000, fairly been offered now. $820,000 the bid. At 820 the bid. Bid here, keys are here. Opportunity with your buyer again, Rob. At 820,000 for the first call. At 820, all done. Second call at 820,000, all done. Finished. At 5,000, a great bid at 825,000. It's just a big bid, so you can make one too. At 825, the bid's there. At 825. At 825,000, fairly been offered. Were you just confirming that, Jules, at 825? I heard it right. At 825,000. At 825,000, fairly been offered now. At 825, the bid. Are you absolutely sure? That's the strategy, sir. Big bid to knock you out. You can do the same in response at 825, the bid. How about take me to 30? Give it a go. At 825,000, the bid's there. The keys are there. Absolutely sure. At 825 the bid now. Once at 825,000. Done. Second call, 825 the bid. Done. Finished. Third, final call, and a half. And I thought you'd be back at 825 and a half. You've been so strong the whole way. Didn't think you were going to leave me just yet. At 825 and a half now. At 825,500. How about 30? Another big bid. At 825 and a half now. Fairly been offered at 500 now at 826. Now you've got them back down to $500 bid, sir. Cause for optimism. Cause to push on. Now respond with a big bid. At 826,000. The bid's there. The keys are there. We're on the market. We sell. At 826. I get the feeling you're not quite done. You want to drive away, walk away knowing you gave it your absolute best, or walk away with the keys. But don't walk away with any doubt at 826.5. At 826,527 now. At 827 the bid. At 827,000, not a big leap to 30 now. At 827,000 and the bid's here. At 827 I have. At 827,000 fairly been offered now. At 827 the bid, we're on the market, we sell. At 827 fairly been offered. At 827,000 first call. At 827 all done. 828 now and a better bid at that. At 500 now at 828.5. At 828,500. At 828.5 now fairly been offered. 30 surely. At 828.5 now. Bids there, keys are there. At 828.5 once. At 828.5 done. And at 829 now, at 829,000, at 829,000, at 500 now, at 829.5. No, we're left to hide now. Got to be 30 in the rise. At 829,500, fairly been offered bids there. 30 if you like. At 829,500, bids there, keys there. 30. Yeah, there we go. At 830,000, we love the energy here today. At 830,000 and the bid's there. At 830. At 830,000, fairly been offered now at 830. Keys back in your pocket. At 830,000, once, twice. 1,000. At 831 the bid now. At 831,000, do we dare aim for 40 now, sir? At 831,000, absolutely done. You've given it your absolute best, your best shot here today. I don't think she's quite as sure. At 831, we're definitely done. Thank you very much for your bidding here today. I will count to 3 and come back to you to check one more time. At 831,000, fairly been offered now. Bids here, keys are here. First call at 831, all done. Second call at 831, the bid done. Finished. Third, final call, $831,000 the bid. All done, all finished, all silent out. 831 plus 1 is 832, sir. At 831, get the calculator out. We're definitely done over here. Thank you again for your bidding here today. 831,000. Bids there, keys are there. I'll give you the opportunity to make a quick call, seek instructions at 800. How good would it be if you just called them and told them you bought it later? At 831,000, always better to ask for forgiveness than permission. It's much more fun that way. At 831, the bid. Bid here, keys are here. Do need to know though, we're on the market and selling. If you want to buy, bid me now at 831,000 once, twice, third, final call, $831,000 the bid, all done, all finished. At 500 now, at 831.5. At 831,000, at 1,832.5 now. At 832,500 now. At 832.5, fairly been offered now. At 832,500. At 832.5 now, fairly been offered. Bid there, keys there. On the market, selling, as I said, at 832,500. Are you absolutely sure, sir? How about 835 in the rise? At 832,500 the bid, and a half now at 833. At 833,000 now, at 833 in the bid's back here at 33. At 833,000 now. They've got to dig deep, Rob. Tell them to give me a big bid, knockout bid as we call it in the trade. $833,000 the bid. Once at 833, all done. Twice at 833, at 2,000 now at 835, at 835, final nail in the coffin, you're absolutely sure. At 835,000, they've done enough now. At 835, at 835,000, fairly been offered, bid back here, out there, keys here. At 835,000, on the market, selling, 835 the bid. First call, all done. Second call, at 835,000, done, finished. Third, final call, $835,000 the bid, all done, all finished, all silent out at 835. Are we absolutely sure? I have your absolute best here today.
He's not answering.
At 835,000. Surely he can find another 500 or 1,000 at 835. Yes or no, in or out? I need to know. Don't want to put pressure on you. Just the real estate agent standing over here asking you for money at 835,000. Do need to know now though, sir. At 835,000, the keys are there. The opportunity is yours. 36 will get you back ahead. At 835, what do you say? 835 the bid once, twice, 36 at 836. At 836,000, we're back on top at 36. At 836,000, how about 40, Rob? Another big bid at 836,000. Fairly been offered. Small bids help the competition come along. Big bids buy property. 836 the bid. At 836,000, fairly been offered. Bid there, keys there. On the market and selling at 836. Once at 836,000. Done. Twice.
1,500.
At 1,500, 837.5. At 837,500. How about 40? At 837.5 now, fairly been offered now. 837,500. Keys are there at 837.5. Opportunity back with you at 837,500. Fairly been offered now. We sell in the absence of any further bidding here today. 837,500 for the first call at 837.5. All done. Second call at 837,500. Done. Finished. Third. Final call. 837,500. All done. All finished. All silent out at 837.5. Do I have your absolute best now, sir? I can get you on top again. At 837.5, the bid's there. Yes or no? Can I say 40? 838 now at 838,000. Take me to 40, Rob. At 838,000, keys are back there now at 838. At 838,000, fairly been offered now at 838. At 838,000, thinking about it once more at 838,000. Ample opportunity here today. At 838,000, fairly been offered. We're on the market. We sell. First call at 838. Done. Second call at 838, at 839. Got to be 40 now at 839. At 839,000, fairly been offered. 40 might be the barrier there. At 839,000, fairly been offered. Bids here, keys are here. We're selling at 839 the bid. First call at 839, all done. Second call, 839 the bid. Done and finished. Third, final call, 839,000. Sir, are we done? Are we finished? Are we silent and out at 839, 840 now? 840,000. The cheer squad's back in action again at 840 now at 840,000. At 845,500. At 840,500 now. At 840.5. At 840.5 now. Perhaps after this call we'll get a big rise. 840,500 now. Lay it all on the table, sir. Give it one last big roll of the dice. At 840.5. Bids behind me. Opportunity with you. But we do sell here today. 840,500 the bid. First call at 840,500, all done. Second call, 840.5, done and finished. Third, final call, 840.5, all done. All finished. All silent out. 840,500. In or out, sir? 45. Let's go 45. 840.5, the bid's there. Give me a big bid at 41, at 841, at 841. Pressure back in your buy, Rob, but the opportunity's with them also, but the keys are here as it stands at 841,000. At 841 the bid now, at 841,000 on the market, selling 841. First call at 841, done. Second call at 841, at 842, at 842, at 842. What were the instructions on the phone? Stop, we keep going at 842,000. The bid's there. So we're going up inch by inch, but let's go. Let's just take a big leap of faith at 842,000. Knockout bid, 842 the bid. At 842, bids there, keys there. We sell, 842 the bid. First call at 842, done. Twice at 842. Third, final call, 842,000, all done, finished. Silent, out at 842. We're definitely done now. Absolutely sure. Thank you very much for your spirited bidding here today. Hopefully we enjoy success next time we meet. 842 the bid, fairly been offered once, twice, third, final call at 842. All done, silent and out at 842,000. Absolutely sure, sir? We are selling, selling, selling. Sold! Congratulations to our purchaser and our vendors here today. You've just witnessed another successful Harcourts Rata and Co auction. Have a great week and a great Christmas, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Good luck next time, mate. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, guys.